First Word. Pastor Dave here, coming to you live from beautiful Linwood, Minnesota. March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. I have zero green on. Fail. I also haven't had coffee this morning. Fail. I'm going to get coffee right after this. We'll see if I find some green. But coffee will be in the equation soon. First Word, we study the book of Mark together. We're in Mark chapter 9. We've been looking at yesterday, the disciples were arguing about who was the greatest. Right before, or right after, I should say, Jesus was talking about his death and self-sacrifice for the saving of humanity. So we kind of continue that theme of thinking about others, selfless living in Mark 9, 38 to 50. So let's read that right now. Here we go. Teacher, said John, we saw someone driving out demons in your name, and we told him to stop because he was not one of us. Do not stop him, Jesus said, for no one who does a miracle in my name can in the next moment say anything bad about me. For whoever is not against us is for us. Truly I tell you, anyone who gives you a cup of water in my name because you belong to the Messiah will certainly not lose their reward. If anyone causes one of these little ones, those who believe in me, to stumble, it would be better for them if a large millstone were hung around their neck and they were thrown into the sea. If your hand causes you to stumble, cut it off. It is better for you to enter life maimed than with two hands to go into Gehenna, where the fire never goes out. And if your foot causes you to stumble, cut it off. It is better for you to enter life crippled than to have 2 feet and be thrown into Gehenna. And if your eye causes you to stumble, pluck it out. It is better for you to enter into the kingdom of God with one eye than to have 2 eyes and be thrown into Gehenna, where the worms that eat them do not die and the fire is not quenched. Everyone will be salted with fire. Salt is good, but if it loses its saltiness, how can you make it salty again? Have salt among yourselves and be at peace with each other. The word of the Lord. All right, so what's all happening here? Lots of things to discuss. It starts off with this man who's freeing people from demons, but the disciples didn't think the guy was on their team, possibly because maybe he said they said he wasn't following us, like he didn't have enough faith. And Jesus pushes back against them. Jesus suggests the real danger with the disciples is this idea of cliquishness and the danger of making sure you belong to the right party and making sure the others know they belong to the wrong party. And we're good at that as humans, right? We're really good at choosing teams. Churches do that as well. The true church, the fake church, who's really a Christian, who really isn't, deciding who's in and deciding who's out. And Jesus pushes the disciples to expand that definition and to say, hey, if he's not against us, he's for us. And he might have left them scratching their heads like, I wasn't expecting that. And so we have that story of looking and expanding that definition. And then Jesus pushes into this idea of what we say and do, that it really, really matters. I think what is happening here is that Jesus is telling the disciples that each human being is unique. Each human being has never been created before. A boy, a girl, or man or woman that's made in the image of God. And each person, each human being has the freedom to decide to separate themselves from God or to follow and choose to seek after God. And that my words and my actions and your words and your actions, if you're a follower of Jesus, if you represent who God is, you have a chance, and you do every day, influence people to either decide to separate themselves from God or to seek to be with God. And when you have that kind of influence, there's a word for that. It's called power. We have power. We all have said and done things that we regret. There's a great example of a toothpaste in a toothpaste tube, and once you squeeze out the toothpaste, there's no going back. You can try to get the toothpaste back into the tube, and it's just the worst. And when you squeeze out too much toothpaste and then it hardens, it's the worst. And so we know that once we say something, people can forgive us, but you can't unhear it. And so I've done that. We've all done that. Jesus reminds us with some really stark imagery that we have power today, tomorrow, every time we encounter a human being. what we say, what we do. So he uses this shocking language that if you influence someone poorly, it's better to take a millstone and tie it around your neck and jump into the sea. Now that will get your attention, especially if you know what a millstone was. This millstone that is referenced here is a large one that a donkey would move to smash the grain or to do some agricultural activity. So they would know what that is, and they know what the sea is. And it was like, whoa, get your attention. And then he gets your attention even more if your hand or your foot or your eye causes you to hurt people rather than to help people. Cut it off. It's better to be maimed and to go into heaven than to be separated from God forever. You'll notice the Bible that we read today and that you might read says hell, which is a fine translation, but there's an actual word there that's Gehenna. That's what I said, because that's the actual word. And when Jesus said that, it wasn't some obscure like hell, what is hell? It was an actual place. Gehenna, I use that word because it's really the Greek word that's there, and it's an actual place. It's a trash dump outside of Jerusalem. Back in the day, it was used for child sacrifice, a really awful place. And in Jesus' time, all the trash in the animal carcasses and everything from Jerusalem got thrown there. We have those kinds of dumps now, and you can imagine kind of our sophisticated dumps, how bad it would be if it was unsophisticated. It stunk. It was always burning. If the winds blew the wrong way, all of Jerusalem would stink. It was just the worst place. There was always a fire going to consume the garbage and the trash. And it was a place that they knew, a really awful place. So it begs the question, what is hell? Is hell eternal conscious torment? Is hell annihilation? Is hell something else? Really interesting question. We don't have time to go into it at first word, but it's really awful. It's a separation from God. If God is love, to be separated from love is the most awful place to be. Jesus took the most awful place that they could see and smell and touch and said, at some point, judgment is going to happen. Your actions, your words, your beliefs, they all matter. What you believe should lead to, you show what you believe by how you act. And it's really important. And Jesus really tries to shock them into thinking about that. And so for you and I today, as I leave you today, your eyes, your hands, your words, your feet, where you go, what do you do to lift people up? You can do things today that people will never, ever forget. So much power for good or for bad, whether you compliment or you chastise. It can be simple at Walmart, at Cub Foods, at the grocery store, with your kids, whatever it is, your words are powerful. May we be people who find ways through our words and our actions to encourage, to love well, to defend people that need defending, to protect people that need protecting, to build up people, to make peace between people. May we demonstrate today that everybody we encounter is a precious human being made in the image of God, a human being. May we show them who God really is. May we represent God well. May we show them that God is patient, God is kind, God does not envy, God does not boast. God is not proud. God does not dishonor others. God is not easily angered. God is not self-seeking. God keeps no record of wrongs. God protects and trusts and hopes and perseveres. God never fails. That's from 1 Corinthians 13, because as 1 John says, God is love. That is the good news. Friends, may the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. Thanks for joining us. I hope First Word is an encouragement to you. Our artwork is by Emily Lemon, our sound production by Chris Stoltzman, and our original music by Lonnie Leo. We'll leave you with some of Lonnie's music as we go to represent God well on this Wednesday, St. Patrick's Day. Have a good day, friends.